In our next story, we meet three women who have finally broken their silence on the sexual abuse they suffered as children, allegedly at the hands of a family friend. That's after a ruling by our highest court in 2018 that sexual abuse should be prosecuted no matter when it took place. Claire has the story.
Home, a place of safety and comfort, a place of love too, shared with protective parents. That, at least, is how things should be. But that's not what home meant to these two women. Strangers meeting for the first time, but with stories that bind them together.
Join the conversation.
You're with Kate Talk.
Alex Bowles is with me in studio. She recently took the decision that she would no longer stay silent about the abuse that she endured as a child.
Alex Bowles and Claudine Shields are both survivors of childhood sexual abuse, bravely telling their stories years later. Alex, who grew up in a leafy Johannesburg suburb, says she was sexually assaulted by a family friend.
I've kept this secret for all these years. He's been able to wander through our lives, causing destruction.
Claudine's childhood in the Eastern Cape was also scarred by abuse. Both she and her sister fell victim to two men close to their family.
It steals so much from you, it takes so much from you, it changes your entire life.
Anger, guilt, shame. These are the feelings that plague the victims of historic child abuse that cause them to suffer in silence. But decades later, some survivors are not only choosing to expose the atrocities committed against them, they're demanding justice.
Much of Alex's childhood in Johannesburg was spent in a tight-knit circle with her family and their friends.
Leaving me, we had huge braais. If not every weekend, most weekends.
The alleged abuser was always the life of the party, a favorite uncle amongst the children.
He'd have his camera slung over the shoulder, and he was just always there. He used to say to me, I think you could be Miss South Africa one day. Let's go take some photos.
A sinister ruse to spend time alone with 10-year-old Alex.
And then the hand would move to the boob. He put his hand in my pants and up my vagina.
Now Alex wants her abuser to account. Her alleged perpetrator, who can legally be named, is this man, John Hardwick.
John Hardwick was in our lives from the year dot, and that really bothers me because I don't know when it all started.
Forensic psychiatrist Dr. Giada Del Fabro has dealt extensively with historic child abuse cases.
They will manipulate the child into believing that what they will do with the perpetrator is normal and expression of love.
In 1985, Alex learned of another unexpected victim.
My brother was on his way to boarding school at Kes, and my mum did the talk. You know, the boys might try and do this, and my brother said to her, oh, you mean like Uncle John?
Shockingly, their parents didn't act, and Uncle John continued to be invited into their home. 3 years after her brother's admission, Alex told her parents that their friend had also been abusing her.
My father said to him, if you get help, go for counseling, you can stay in our family circle, you know, our friends. If not, we're going to cut ties.
But the ties remained intact.
Predators don't reserve their grooming tactics exclusively for their targets. Parents are also drawn in with a toxic serenade that allows the predators easy access to the children that they intend to abuse.
Hardwick's friendship with Alex's parents began a few years before she was born.
In 1966, my father was offered a job by his father-in-law.
Alex's parents initially denied knowing that Hardwick was a predator, but when confronted with an incident at a dinner party in the 70s, her own father defended Hardwick's actions.
There was a little girl of 6 there. She says, that man tried to put his hand in my pants. Her father got up once he heard, and he broke John Hardwick's nose. My father wanted the father arrested for assault, not John Hardwick for child abuse.
Was it the ultimate betrayal by your parents, do you feel?
Yes. For me, enablers of this sort of crime also have blood on their hands.
Years later, Alex and her brother cut all ties with their parents.
So why is it that some sexual abuse victims take years to eventually speak out?
So they feel like they were responsible for it in some way. It is very difficult for them to speak out because they fear being blamed, being shamed, being told it was their fault.
Daunting as speaking out may be, taking things a step further is arguably even more difficult, as Claudine knows all too well. She and her sister have been seeking justice against the men who assaulted them for several years.
It's now 48 years, that's the age of our case, and we have now passed the 4-year mark since we laid charges, and we don't even have the sniff of a trial date.
It's 4 years since you laid charges. Does it still feel like it's been worth it?
Absolutely, and I won't give up. I spent years in therapy. My life did not turn out the way I wanted it to turn out, and so I have to be part of this fight back.
Claudine details the abuse in her book, Walking Through Front Doors.
My sister and I were abused by 2 men who had access to us and who stayed at our house fairly often.
What do you envision as justice in your particular case?
Just to be able to tell our story, to be heard, to have so many people take us seriously, and to have the law take us seriously.
For her sanity, Claudine does not let the case consume her.
I write, I'm back at university studying. You know, that's also how I've dealt with the discouragement and the long and tedious road that we're walking.
But if you think the prospect of walking her own long and tedious road might discourage Alex, well, you couldn't be more wrong. She has far too many painful reminders of her past to simply let it go.
The seductive, pouty pose tells me I can see in my eyes that I know we have a secret.
And Alex wondered how many others had secrets too.
I have found 12 of us in total that are definite victims. 9 don't want to come forward. 3 of us have.
Back in the 70s, a camera-slinging sweet talker showered children with compliments and attention by taking questionable photos of them. Those children are adults now, and they see those photos for what they really are, a reminder of a dark, traumatic past.
In 2018, the Constitutional Court ruled that sexual crimes could be prosecuted regardless of how long ago they occurred, opening the door for 3 adults to demand a price for a childhood tainted by suffering. Alex, her brother, and 1 other woman stepped forward to demand justice. Last month, they filed a 15 million rand lawsuit against Hardwick. Suzanne Smith was 11 years old when Hardwick allegedly abused her. But she wasn't alone either, and one day the children tried to catch him out.
One of the younger children hid inside the cupboard with a video camera.
So desperate were his young victims that Suzanne recalls them trying to use Hardwick's beloved gadgets against him.
So that we could then show it to our parents and say, this is what he's doing.
So what happened that day?
He clicked that we want to, because there was too many of us, I think, in the room.
Our requests for an interview with John Hardwick and his lawyer have gone unanswered. But last year, Alex got Hardwick's phone number and confronted the now 82-year-old.
You know you abused me. You know you molested me, and I need you to apologize. And he said, well, you know, I don't know if it was that. It was more, I might have tickled your legs.
In October, Alex got an email, supposedly from Hardwick.
The subject line said, apologies for all the harm I have caused. I am so very sorry. I should have contacted you years ago, but I was too scared.
Did it help at all or not?
It did help. The other victims didn't have that chance for that level of closure. It's been a dream of mine to be able to find him, see if he's still alive, and confront. So it felt very empowering.
Suzanne received a similar email.
He sends apology letters, then he denies doing it. Why would you apologize for something you say you didn't do?
As they await their day in court, Suzanne says she is stronger, but it will be some time before she can truly come to terms with the anger she feels.
Do you think after all is said and done, you'll be able to close this book?
I hope so. I need to do it for my son, for no one else.
You are that important for it to be done just for you. Got this. Thank you. I've only met you and I'm proud of you. Do you know what I mean? I've only just met you and I'm proud of you.
Hot. Thank you.
Thank you for watching our stories here online, and please subscribe below to become part of our YouTube community and be notified when we upload our latest content.